And this is Becky with A Couple of Bees Read.
And one of our favorite things to do is predict Book of the Month picks.
Yes.
So October's coming up, which is usually spooky season. So we've got our eyes on some spooky ones.
Probably some that are just my wish they would put it on here, but they probably won't, but I wish they would.
Yes.
You know. What we kept to ourselves, though, I feel like is a great possible pick.
The cover looks like something that they would have.
It does. It definitely looks like a Book of the Month. It's about a family's search for answers following the disappearance of their mother. And so...
it's a good family story with some thriller aspects, potentially. And then Midnight is the Darkest Hour. It is a gothic southern thriller about a killer haunting a small Louisiana town where two outcasts, the preacher's daughter and the boy from the wrong side of the tracks, hold the key to uncovering the truth. And guys,
this would be perfect for October. Yes.
I'm so glad that Gothic literature is having a comeback recently. It's some of my favorite books have been in that whole Gothic genre. So I would love for them to have this. If they don't have this, I'm actually going to be a little disappointed.
Well, if they don't have it, I'm going to order it. I like it. It sounds good to me. Sisters Under the Rising Sun. So this to me also looked like a Book of the Month cover. I'm not exactly sure if they'll pick it up, but it's the novel of resilience and survival. It's from a best-selling author who did The Tattooist of Auschwitz.
Yes. So, Heather Morris.
And then this is about in the midst of World War II, an English musician, Norah Chambers, places her 8-year-old daughter Sally on a ship leaving Singapore. She's desperate to keep her safe from the Japanese army that's invading, but Norah remains to care for her husband and elderly parents, just wondering if she'll ever see her daughter again. So I mean, and they like historical fiction, and so a lot of stuff based on, they've done several books based out of World War II, so that was one reason that I chose this one.
And another one that looks good, The Reformatory by, I don't know that I can say the name of this author, but Tananarive Dune. It's a gripping, page-turning novel set in Jim Crow, Florida, that follows Robert Stevens Jr. as he's sent to a segregated reform school that is a chamber of terrors where he sees the horrors of racism and injustice for the living and the dead. So it's one of these that are, spooky.
But, a different message about what's going on, right? The Night of the Witch. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it's got witch in the title for October, you got to choose it,
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. It's about a witch and a hunter. And vengeance is their mission and love is their destiny, is what the blurb said. So.
And it would be nice to get this one since there's not another X-Hex coming out.
No, and I'm so sad. I loved it.
Well, it's coming out in 2024. It's just not coming out this year.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
I was really hoping, when I started doing research about the October, I was hoping that there would be an Aaron Sterling there, but there wasn't, and I was very disappointed. So,
and another one, I feel like we've asked for this author before, Joe Nesbo.
Yes,
The Night House.
Yes.
You want to talk about?
No. I'm just reading on the book. It says, and when the voices call, but don't answer.
Yeah, Joe Nesbo, he's he's a really well-known horror author right now. So the book is in the wake of his parents' tragic deaths in a house fire. 14-year-old Richard Alaved has been sent to live with his aunt and uncle in remote insular town of Ballantine. Richard quickly earns a reputation as an outcast, and when a classmate named Tom goes missing, everyone suspects the new angry boy is responsible for his disappearance. No one believes him when he says the telephone booth out by the edge of the woods sucked Tom into the receiver like something out of a horror movie.
Interesting. And perfect for October spooky month.
Yeah.
And then of course they already start looking at the holidays, movies, the winters. And the winter in New York is
Josie Silver, the same one who wrote One Day in December.
And I have One Day in December. I just haven't read it yet, and I need to do that. So now this one, this is one I'm really, really hoping for. The unfortunate side effects of heartbreak and magic. And it's got the teacup. We've been doing the little whole tea party thing and high tea with the girls and everything. And so it just really sounded great. It's a debut novel. They like debut authors.
By Brianne Randall.
And it says it explores the shields we build around our hearts to retain our own magic. A young chef stumbles on a secret family recipe that might lead her to the love and life that she's been looking for. So we will see. It's a beautiful cover. Looks like something they would pick up. So hopefully so.
If they don't get it, I could see it being an aardvark choice.
It could be.
Yeah.
And if it's not either one, then I'm pretty sure I'll buy it anyway.
And the next is an author that every time she comes out with a book, I'm like, book of the month should get her, and that's Lisa Unger. Her
exactly.
new novel, Christmas Presents, is coming out. And I understand the book of the month likes discovering authors, and Lisa Unger is already a fairly big name.
Sure.
But when it comes to thrillers, most of the time her work just can't be beaten, in my opinion.
Right.
So instead of presents this Christmas, a true crime podcaster is opening up a cold case. And they do like their podcast characters in their books. I think there's been 2 or 3 books where
there has been. Yes.
It was a true crime podcaster.
Right.
So I'd love to see them have this. I would get it even though I already have the NetGalley for it. So
definitely, I think it would be great. It says Madeline Martin has built life for herself as a young owner of a thriving business, the Next Chapter bookstore. And I love books about bookstores and writing and authors and all of those kind of things. It says when Harley Granger, a failed novelist turned true crime podcaster, drifts into her shop in the days before Christmas. He seems intent on digging up events that Madeline would much rather just forget. She's the only surviving victim of Evan Handy, the man who was convicted of murdering her best friend. So, again, I think it's that's a great. And if it doesn't come out in October, I can't remember if it gets released the 1st of October or the end of October. It could be an add-on, or they could wait maybe and bring it up in November since it has Christmas in the title. So, and this one has a beautiful cover.
Alex E. Harrow, The Starling House. Another gothic one.
Yes, I know.
A grim and gothic new tale about a small town haunted by secrets that can't stay buried and the sinister house that sits at the crossroads of it all. And Alex Harrow is one that I'm shocked they haven't carried. They haven't carried her before, have they?
Not that I know of. No.
And she's pretty well known, so
who knows? And I think it's another, because one reason I chose this one as a prediction is because the blurb says it is grim and gothic, and perfect for October.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know that's kind of maybe cliche for what we want in October and what we look for in our November and December books.
I gotta have the spooky stuff.
So here's the next one: People to Follow.
By Olivia Worley.
And I thought this one was interesting because it involves teenagers. 10 teen influencers come to a remote island to star in a reality show, but when one of them winds up dead, they realize this time that the price of being canceled could be their lives. And they do not, I read a little bit more about this one, and they do not allow them to have their cell phones with them, so there's no tech of any kind with them, and they realize they're stranded on this island without any way to communicate to the outside world. And then my thought was, well, what parent let their teenagers go off without them on an island? I thought, that was not going to happen with them. No.
So another one of my favorite authors who they've yet to carry, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed, is Jennifer McMahon. This time the novel is My Darling Girl. Now she writes some of the most haunting fiction I've ever read. Big fan of her work. It's perfect for spooky season. This one, a spine-tingling psychological thriller about a woman who, after taking in her dying alcoholic mother, begins to suspect demonic possession is haunting her family. Now, I haven't read one of Jennifer McMahon's where she deals with like possession or anything that's, I don't want to say that's cliche horror, but at this point, kind of.
Exorcist.
So I'm interested to see how she handles it.
All that. Sure. Yeah. Now, this one I chose, I really don't know if they'll carry it or not, but The Scandalous Confessions of Lydia Bennett, Witch. And it has to do, it's a retelling, a reimagining of the Pride and Prejudice. And so, I asked you about it, and it said, so it's told from the perspective of the troublesome and, according to her, much maligned youngest Bennett sister, Lydia. So who knows? They do like to do that sometimes, with like, they've done one, with the Scarlet Letter, different things. So along the, way. And then I thought this one was very interesting.
The List by Yomi Adegoke. Maybe. I tried. Ola Alajid, a celebrated journalist of Women magazine, is set to marry the love of her life in 1 month's time. Young, beautiful, and successful, she and her fiancé Michael are considered the couple goals of their social network and seem to have it all. That is until one morning when they both wake up to the same message. Oh my God, have you seen the list?
I know that right there just kind of sparked my interest. I'm like, okay, what list? What are they talking about? What's going on? So I think that, to me, that sounded like one that I felt like they would carry. Because, what was the book? I've read several that go along with, different, like there's one called Girl in the Mirror. I got it way back when, and that's one they carry. If y'all have not read it, it's about twins, and it's very uniquely written, and it has a lot of stuff. So, and
then Adrienne Young is having another novel come out, The Unmaking of June Farrow. A woman risks everything to end her family's centuries-old curse, solve her mother's disappearance, and find love.
Yep, and I know that, I think that's about, 12 or 14, I can't remember. I just kept going through stuff and researching the new releases, and I actually had more than this, but I thought, well, I've got to narrow it down, because I know they're not going to choose all 14 of these, but, anyway, I like I said, I think some of them are wishful thinking on my part, but then I think that there's quite a few in here that they might pick for sure. And maybe this will be a month where they offer 7 and we can get more. Who knows?
Exactly.
Maybe. Well, what do y'all think? What is your predictions? Do you have any additional ones, or have you read any of these? What do you think? We'd like to know.
Bye, guys.